Alright, we're doing a radiator flush on 2004 Ford Taurus, but I'm not going to get into that right now. I'm actually going to show how to flush the heater core, because I'm doing that also while I'm at it. Friend, she complains that there's no heat. I mean, it blows great. The valve opens underneath the dash, which I'll show that to you what to check, but it's not pushing any heat. So some people say take it off at the firewall. Heck with that, it's easier here. Me taking this hose off, it's right by your thermostat. And be taking this hose off right behind your alternator. If you really want to get up in there, try and get into that can of worms. Plus, if you start pulling that stuff off, I mean, hers is really old. You could end up breaking a fitting in there, and then your car fills up full of water, because your heater core is through your firewall and the cab of your car. Yeah, this one's from Oregon, so yeah, it has some rust in it. Alright, so I ended up disconnecting it from here instead of behind the alternator. Mainly because, whoops, there we go. Mainly because it was easier to get to that, and it had a regular hose clamp on it. So that one's disconnected. And that one down in there by the thermostat's disconnected. So now we just got to get our hoses so we can run into a bucket and catch all the backflush, because that is radiator fluid, so you don't want to be dumping that in the ground, especially if you got animals around. And regardless, catch all your fluids in a bucket. Alright, I took that hose because I couldn't find a longer one and just put it down through there, and then used my small oil drip pan that I pretty much just use for fluids like this. I don't use it actually for oil, just for antifreeze and any kind of other fluids besides oil. I have a bigger pan for my oil and my differential fluid and all that. Yeah, you can see how dirty it is. 2004, I don't think this radiator or heater core was ever flushed. They get blocked up, you lose heat because it bypasses, and you start running into issues. Alright, we got the hoses hooked up both sides. Filled the radiator with water. And I also have this flush I was using. Blue Devil radiator flush. So I'm doing a flush on the radiator plus the heater core. But yeah, let me say, come in here, you turn on your accessory. And you get down there, there's your little valve for your heater. So right now it's on cool. It moves up the heat. You want to make sure that that's not binding. You can take those two little black screws out if you want to get a better look at it. But yeah, just cycle it a couple times. Make sure everything's not binding. And then after you flush it with your water, Now come in here and check, see if there's any water on your floorboard. Make sure your heater core is not leaking. Okay, now we're going to fire it up. And it says you can, for only flushing your radiator, run engine with heater on max for 10 minutes. For deep radiator cleaning, drive your vehicle for 3 to 6 hours at normal driving conditions or intermittently over a period of a few days, if weather permits. Well, she doesn't have time for that, so we're going to do the 10 minutes with the heater on max, and hopefully it'll work. Get her another 6-8 months out of it, so she can save up to get a new one. New car. Alright, well, we're taking a little break. We ran it for the 10 minutes, maybe a little longer. Now we're going to let it cool down, let the engine cool down so we can drain it again. Once the engine cools down, I'll take and open up the drain, drain all the water and the radiator flush out. And once that's all drained out, then I'll get my garden hose again and push water through the reservoir into the radiator and flush the rest of the contaminants out if there's anything left in there. Make sure you get all the radiator flush out. I mean, pretty much it tells you everything step by step on the back of the radiator flush bottle. So if you're doing the quick 10-minute flush, or if you're going to be doing the long haul flush because you want to clean it out more. If you're going to be doing that, make sure you're doing it towards summertime. You don't want to be running that flush and straight water in your radiator in the wintertime, because then it'll freeze up and cause you more issues. But yeah, once I get that all flushed out, then I'll close it all up and fill the radiator back with antifreeze and the water, in which I ended up getting the 50-50 mix. It's easier, quicker. I won't have to deal with trying to find distilled water, because if you're going to do your own mixture of antifreeze and water, you get the full potent antifreeze at AutoZone, Advanced, O'Reilly's, Napa, wherever, and then go to the grocery store and get a gallon or two of your distilled water, depending on how much antifreeze you need. With hers, it's going to take about 2 gallons to fill the radiator and the actual reservoir. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Said letting it cool down, and then we'll go out and fill the reservoir back up with the actual 50-50 mix of antifreeze and water, and then yeah, we'll test it out. Turn the heater on high. I'm gonna get my actually cooking thermometer, use that, check the temp and check for leaks, and should be good to go. Alright, heater core hoses are hooked back up. I'd taken the reservoir tank out, refilled it. It's on cool, so it's pretty cool. So here's cold fill. Just have her keep an eye on it next day or two, see if it needs added anymore. And yeah, try it out. Alright, we got it on full blast. Heat. See, we're gonna test, get the temperature thing. Alright, we're trying to keep this out of the sun. And it's way down in the duct. It's reading 140 degrees. Hopefully, she's happy with it. And I get some good food or desserts. That's my deal. Told her I take payment for the parts, and then she can just give me food or dessert for the labor. Yeah, kicked it off. Still down in there pretty hot, but yeah. Cool it down some. Ooh. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, temperature's dropping. So it is working good. And check all my connections too. Here I took off there for the actual fill tank. And like I said, that one down there. Make sure nothing's leaking. One right there. And also make sure nothing's leaking. Back along the firewall. Keep an eye on it. Check her floorboards. I don't see anything wet. I don't see any water. It used to leak, so that's old stuff. It's nice and dry. Heater's working good. She should be happy with it. Yeah, hopefully this will help you out. If your heat in your car's not working, it's pretty much almost universal for all vehicles. Just do the same thing. Take 2 hoses off, push water through it, flush it out. And if you want to flush your radiator at the same time, you know, the old or the newer ones have the tank where you go to, and the older ones have the actual cap here on the radiator. Yeah, you can get a flush for that. You know, you can get a general flush for the newer vehicles that'll just flush, you know, if you've been flushing it, you take care of it, or it's a newer vehicle, flush contaminants out. Or if you got an older vehicle, they have a stronger flush that'll take more gunk out. Just, if it's a used car, be careful. They might have put some stop leak in it, and if you flush it, it could possibly take some of that stuff out and cause your radiator to start leaking. But yeah, it's pieced back together. The heater's working. I'm gonna clean this battery up because the terminal looks like crap. Another little fix I did. I don't know why the heck this blew off the plastic piece, so I ended up getting a brass one, screwed it in. Yes, I did JB weld it in and put the vacuum line back on. Car's been running good. Like I said, it's just she's trying to get another 6 to 8 months out of it. She's been saving up, doesn't want to make payments, and she'll go and buy another used car. But yeah, hopefully this will help you out with getting your heater core flushed, getting ready for the winter time. That way you're not driving down the road cold. Well, till next time, take care.